Hi there, it's Sandra here from the WLA, and I'm taking a little bit of time out in my garden because the weather is absolutely glorious again, and we've been very lucky, haven't we, with our summer this year. So been thinking about what to share today and whether to share this with you or not. So I've decided to dive in and share what happened to me. So I had an experience this week that took me to a bit of a dark place, and I don't go there very often at all. I am genuinely, people who know me know that I'm really upbeat, really positive. I am full of life and full of optimism, genuinely and extraordinarily happy. That is my default, I promise you. But something happened. There was a situation which led me to feel this quite intense feeling, which I then was reflecting on. Well, why did I feel so bad? And it was a feeling of shame and embarrassment, actually. And I'm not going to go into the situation because that in a way is irrelevant. What the point is around how do we handle feelings and emotions that don't sit naturally with us. And I don't feel shame or embarrassment very often at all. And it got me thinking about how our identity as leaders and our conditioning and how we can still continually get tripped up. And what do you do when you're in that space? You know, how do you handle feeling off kilter, is the best way to put it. I don't know if you've come across the work by Esther and Abraham Hicks. They wrote a book on, they wrote many books, but one of their pieces of work was around the emotional guidance system, and I'm using this with my hands because they talked about we have real positive emotions. There's 7 or 8 of them around joy and peace and happiness and love and all the things that laughter, the things that genuinely make us feel amazing. But the human being has a lot of emotions that sit below the line, and there are a lot more we can, and they're the feelings, and they go further and further down in terms of intensity, from a bit of frustration to anxiety to worry to fear, to desperation, to depression, and so on and so on it goes. And the lovely thing, the book is, I think it's about ask and it is given, that's right. And they talk about that if you keep moving, you can keep moving up the scale so that your emotions are a true reflection of what you're experiencing. It's your body's way of saying to you that something's off track. And ordinarily, and what I used to do was when I felt something that didn't enjoy the feeling, I'd bury it. I'd just move away, walk on, not deal with it, not face into it. And of course what it does, it just buries itself, and then it raises itself in a different capacity. And I think that's what happened to me this week, in that some old gunk came up, quite frankly. It wasn't pleasant. And my initial reaction was, just forget about it, put it to one side, leave it. It's not that big a deal. But there's another part of me going, yeah, but that isn't going to solve the situation, is it? And how do we work through things that are uncomfortable? What do we do? There's a few tactics that I have used this week, and they've all helped quite a lot, actually. One is articulating it. So poor old Buddy, of course, gets it all from me. But when you say out loud what you're really feeling and experiencing, it's really interesting how it can shift the power of the emotion in you, because you kind of like, really? Is that what you really believe? Is that what you're really holding on to? Is that what's going on? And there's this other kind of caring part of you that sort of steps in and says, actually, that you don't have to feel that way, and it can be different. So certainly give yourself a good talking to. Journaling, you've heard me talk about this before, but that was the other thing I did, was to get the old pen and paper out and write down what triggered me, where's it come from, how do I feel, and so I use my brain, my head, to help me make sense of what it was I was experiencing. But then perhaps the most powerful technique, which is also really hard to do, is to actually sit with the feeling you're feeling. So rather than trying to get your brain to kick in and give you an answer and analyse it, and that obviously came from there and there, you actually I closed my eyes and I sat with what the feeling was, and I allowed myself to feel the feeling, and then I did a kind of forgiveness. It was just like, yeah, that was a bit shit. You don't have to beat yourself up anymore. You can let it go, and just let it go. And just by sitting with it and closing your eyes, I was able to feel the emotion move and not feel so gunky in my stomach. And the combination of those sort of approaches have really helped me get over myself. As I often say to my members and you know, put your big girl pants on and get on with it. And sometimes that works really well because it's a jolt that you need, but when it's something a bit deeper, you need a different type of strategy and technique. The other thing that I haven't done, and should it rear its head again, I will absolutely do, is some EFT work. EFT, if you don't know about it, stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. And it's a bit weird, and people laugh about it. But you may have heard of acupuncture, which kind of works on meridian points, energy meridian points on the body. Well, the EFT is similar, only it involves tapping. So you literally are sort of tapping parts of your body, and that resonance at an energetic level helps to free the emotion you're feeling. So check it out. Honestly, it's pretty big and it works. So that would be something else if I felt it too. But I guess the point of the video is to say, you know, we're all human. We all feel emotions. We mustn't bury the emotions we're feeling. They're there for a reason. They're there to remind us, and there are different ways we can do to clear them. And honestly, once they're gone, you won't experience that again. It's not to say something else won't bubble up, but I'm certainly feeling a lot better than I was. So anyway, that was today. I hope you found it helpful. And yeah, so don't bury things. Face into them and use whichever strategy helps you to clear and of course just forgive yourself. That's the biggest bit of advice ever. There we go. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. You take care. Speak soon.